The original derivation of the word compete is actually to seek a goal together, like to improve together. So if I'm not going to compete against you in running, but if we, let's say,
vice versa
with tennis. Okay, I hope your tennis is better than your chopstick skills.
It's not.
But, okay. All right. But let's say muffin eating, right? If we were going to compete, who could eat this muffin the fastest? Okay, that's TMI. But the goal is you want to compete against the best so that you, as a measuring, I never got upset if I lost a tennis match and barely won a point, because it's like, now I know where the bar is at. I actually get excited by that.
Yes.
Because now I know what I need to do to improve.
Yes.
You're set, exploring sport and art for well-being. This is Your Set.
Welcome to the Your Set podcast today. So I'd just like to start by saying I'm here with Adrian. And I'll just go into a bit of an introduction before we get into the podcast. So behind every crown is a story most people never hear. Adrian is the founder of the Pageant Project, a tennis coach who studied aeronautical engineering and computer science with an interest in AI. He has also just released a new book about pageantry called The Beginner's Guide to Pageantry, sharing the lessons and tips he's learned from over 500 interviews. Welcome to the Your Set podcast.
Thank you for the warm welcome.
No, thanks for coming in today. So we'll just get into things. So my first question is, what first sparked your interest in pageantry and the stories behind it?
Pageantry was because of my former experience as a tennis coach. I was a head tennis coach at an all-girls school. Told this story so many times it almost feels like I'm making it up. There was a young girl there, probably 15 years old, and this was before the days that mental health was really talked about much. And I saw that she had a series of parallel cuts on her arm, and I didn't know what that was about, and my boss pulled me aside and told me what it was about. It was about self-harm. And so my brain immediately went to, well, what can I do to help that, not just that one person, but ideally to stop it from ever happening again, or to at least reduce the incident. And I thought, well, the best thing I can do is start interviewing role models for young women. I deliberately didn't want any celebrities, because I don't think all celebrities are great role models. I wanted local people. And so actually the first person I interviewed was a local personal trainer. And we went to a park. We had a setup similar somewhat to this, except I had 3 cameras in the middle of a park. I never want to do in person again. But it started from there, and then the second person after that was a pageant person. And I had no idea what pageants were, so much so that, you've interviewed with me, the final 10 questions. The 7th one, which now is, if you could have any superpower, what would you pick and why? That question is actually supposed to be, what's your favourite curse word? And I asked her that, and she literally wouldn't answer. She was like, I'm like, what's wrong with you? We're Australian, we curse. She wouldn't answer. Oh, right. But that's how it started. I went to a fundraiser. She was in Miss Universe at the time. And then, people asked me, how do you know Tasha? I said, I interviewed her, and then everyone else wanted to jump on board. So that's how it started.
So why did you stick with pageantry? Because I know you reached out to a PT first. How come you didn't go down the route of reaching out to more sports people as well and interviewing them? Did you just get interested in pageantry in general and see the impact that those interviews made?
It was more curiosity. I'd worked in tennis up at that point probably for about a decade. So I could have interviewed personal trainers. Not all of them are the best at speaking, I will say. Tennis coaches.
I'm a PT in training, so
don't look at Kat's writing. I'm surprised you managed to read her own notes, although these are tight ones. Tennis coaches. No, I'm not going to interview most tennis coaches because they're even worse than personal trainers. But the thing is with pageant girls, at least they have somewhat of a training as to how to speak. Like public speaking is a component of pageantry, or at least interview. Also, it's just I had no idea what the world was. It was very bizarre to me. I couldn't understand, for example, why there was more than one pageant. I knew there was Miss Universe.
I was the same when I started.
Yeah, it's like, Miss Universe, okay. There's also Miss World. Are those the same? Oh no. What's the difference? And then you get this answer like, what? And then it's like, there's Miss Earth. Oh, there's Miss International. Then there's Miss Grand. Then there's how many are there? And so, but I should say the thing that drew me in was that the women, okay, they're glamorous for the most part, but they also can speak. And that's not a combination that you find very often. Like if you go down a modelling route, I actually said the one person I don't want to interview is a model, because I thought they would all have nothing to say. I've since proven myself wrong. Yes. But I had an interest as to how come these women are so glamorous that they can speak, and yet they also look like they do want to serve their community, because there's often an advocacy. And so that just intrigued me, and because of the ADD brain, it was a rabbit hole I jumped down, and then 10 years later I'm still here.
Yes.
That's basically it. It was an ADD sort of, let's see what happens.
And did you see it actually affect the people that you were coaching? Because you said that's how it started. Did you see the impact it had on your community?
Yeah.
Speaking about the podcast that you made?
On my community or on the women I was interviewing?
Your community. Because you said you started the interviews because you wanted to
not directly, because it's not like you want to go to that young woman who was cutting herself and say, hey, I did this for you.
Yes.
And the way the internet works, like I have a much bigger audience, for example, in America than I have here. So if I go to America, go to a pageant, I get recognized. Here, not so much. Yes, I don't like that word as an Australian. I'm not comfortable with the word celebrity, like Z-list celebrity.
Yeah.
It definitely has had an impact, but I don't think you really get to decide who's going to be impacted by it. It's people who need to see your message. If the algorithm is doing its work, it will reach the people it should reach.
And actually on that point, I did have a question about global communities. So did you ever imagine that your podcast would grow to a global community? Because I know you said that you did want to reach out to America, because I mean really that's the base of pageantry in general. But do you want to extend further than America, or are you happy kind of with the reach you have?
I want more.
You want more?
But for me, I think I said this, I don't know if you heard, for me I felt like I had to earn my stripes before I hit America, because America to me is a pinnacle. You might argue Philippines, Venezuela, etc. I don't have, to be completely blunt with you, I have no interest in going into there, because Southeast Asian pageantry sort of prioritizes things other than what I do, and that's fine.
Just different.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah.
So America is where it's at, and especially with the scholarship systems, because the women going into that are going in for scholarship money, so they're going for tertiary education, and so they're immaculately well spoken, even down to the teenage level. So I'm just trying to find out everything I can about America, thinking about going over again with the current, whatever you want to call it. I'm like, maybe now is not the best time, and I don't know if that's going to get better soon. I hope and pray it does. But
just with breaking into America, how did you find that? Was it difficult at first? Did you have to reach out to the women that are competing, and then you built your community around it? Yeah,
I mean, people sometimes want to know, how do you get to, because I'm now on episode like 500 or whatever it is, and people go like, oh, do you have any tips? And the tip is like, ask people. If they say no, ask someone else, and you just keep going. I mean, it's not that difficult.
It's like acting, like you get rejection, you also get,
You do have to get good at dealing with rejection, and sometimes, much like acting, it can seem quite unfair, because you might think you delivered the audition of your lifetime, and then you look at the person they hired and went, I can act circles around her. But people are looking for what they look for. You can't change that.
Exactly. And I've really enjoyed listening to your new podcast as well with the other women. I know you've started that.
Pageants and Tangents.
Yes.
Plug.
It's
mainly tangents, if I'm honest.
I'm obsessed with it. I love it because it's you really give a space for women to have their opinion, and different topics as well, which I've really enjoyed. So I just wanted to say, after speaking with so many contestants around the world, what patterns do you see in the journeys people take within pageantry, and what they get out of it?
I think it's about you having, and when I say you, I mean the women competing, having the foresight to know what it is they actually want from their pageant journey. So if you go in simply because you want to grow your audience, whether or not that I agree with that goal, that's all that's going to happen. If you go into it with, okay, at least I want to meet and network with other like-minded women, then it expands a bit. If you're going into it going, this is a great excuse for me to give back to my community, or magnify my voice and meet incredible like-minded women that I might get to be lifelong friends with, if that makes sense, like the more you imagine or expect from it, the more you get from it. Otherwise, it's completely possible you go there and let's say you don't win, you have a fun weekend and that's it. And I personally think that's a bit of a waste, because you guys spend so much time, money and effort into your pageant journey. I feel like you might as well get the most out of it as you can. And I think the best parts are not, walking away with something on your head. I think it's the people you meet and the skills that you learn.
100%. Yeah, I agree with And just on that point as well, with the winners in particular, have you found, I know you've said in the past, that it's about self-awareness that stands out with each of them, but is there any other point of difference that you find within the women that have won the crown compared to?
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, every winner is different. When people ask me questions like that, I tend to try to bring it down to 1, 2 or 3 things, because my whole thing, even as a coach, is to simplify. I don't like having a long list of things. So I would stick by self-awareness. I mean, you mentioned another one is resilience. I mean, there are many, I think it was Deshauna Barber got knocked down 6 or 7 times before she became Miss USA. And that woman's amazing, serving, I think it was in the army.
Yes, I remember hearing about that.
So resilience is one, self-awareness, and then I really think knowing what you want out of it, so that you can use pageantry as a platform to jumpstart your career or to level up your career. I think that, again, the more you want from it, the more you can get from it. But I mean, every winner, it's unique in their own way.
True. And do you think it coincides with the athlete mindset as well? Have you found that some women, that have had an athletic background also kind of compete differently compared to others?
Yeah, I quite often approach pageant coaching the same way I would approach high-level tennis coaching, especially the sports psychology part. Even as a tennis coach, I was much more interested in the psychology of it than the mechanics of it. So, I mean, you run, right? That's not something I will ever do. You went for a 10-kilometer run just casually at 6 in the morning the other day, and it looked like it was bucketing down. Look, you do you, okay? That's not me. But, I mean, when you're doing like the medium distance running, for example, of course you've trained for it, you've got your VO2 max, you've done your sprints, whatever. But at a certain point, it's also like, I'm tired now, but am I going to keep pushing? And or do I believe that I can beat the person who's beaten me 10 times, or I've beaten that person 10 times in a row, I've got this. And for me, the mindset is even more prevalent in pageantry, because pageantry doesn't have those objective standards of, what was your best time, your PBs, right?
Because you can go to one pageant and get a certain place.
Well, the goalposts completely shift because you've got different judges and it's so subjective. Whereas in tennis, I can say, okay, how quickly can I serve, all right? Or how much can I bench? In pageantry, you don't have that. So it's even more difficult, it's even more psychological. And what I found is the people who keep going and are the most able to deal with the ups and downs, they're the ones who really know why they're doing it. They're not too focused on the win. But I will say they are also healthily, is that the right word? They're competitive,
yes,
but to a good degree.
Yes.
I don't coach well with people who don't want to win. If they just say, I just want to go there and have fun. Well, I mean, like, if you want to go and have fun, like, what do you need coaching from me for? Just go have fun. But then what they say is, they go have fun, they didn't win, then they get upset. So what you're really telling me is you were afraid to say you wanted to win, because then you don't have to pretend that you were trying.
Yes.
So, but again, that's a whole psychological thing.
Yeah, and it really comes down to mindset. I found when I'm at the track and it's a meet, I often find there's similar relationships I have with other competition compared to pageantry as well. Yeah. Because it's like you are all wanting that win, but you also have to keep relationships, because your probably likelihood is not getting them in that time.
Well,
so,
I mean, I said this on the podcast or somewhere. I said the original derivation of the word compete is actually to seek a goal together, like to improve together. So if I'm not going to compete against you in running, but if we, let's say,
vice versa
with tennis. Okay, I hope your tennis is better than your chopstick skills.
It's not.
But, okay. All right, let's say muffin eating, right? If we were going to compete, who could eat this muffin the fastest? Okay, that's TMI. But the goal is you want to compete against the best, so that you, as a measuring. I never got upset if I lost a tennis match and barely won a point, because it's like, now I know where the bar is at. I actually get excited by that, because now I know what I need to do to improve.
Yes.
I never view competition as I beat the stuffing out of you and now I'm better than you. Although some people do, and some people measure their self-esteem by did I win or lose, and that's really a dangerous part to come from. But part of the ADD thing as well, I need to see that I'm improving. And if you can give me yardsticks, and if I don't have those yardsticks, at least I'm competing with you, we can get better together. And I think it's cool. Like, I don't know if you have any people that you've come up with in terms of running, and you can sort of trace your journeys back several years, and the both of you or your teammates, you've all gotten better together.
100%.
But in tennis, like we talked about the big three, which was Nadal, Djokovic and Federer, and they all say none of them would have gotten as dominant as they did without the other two.
Yes.
And I mean, if that applies in tennis, it definitely applies in pageantry.
I think
as well.
that just applies in life in general as
Absolutely.
well. Like the community you surround yourself with, if you surround yourself with winners, you're just going to get better. That's what I think.
You want to surround people who have a like-minded mindset.
Yeah.
For sure.
Exactly. Oh, that's great. And just on that point as well, many people see pageants only as competition, because we were talking that. But what deeper themes have you discovered through your interviews? So you said that you need to know your why. What's some of the most interesting whys you've had?
Recently, I've interviewed a few people who've come from a house where both parents were addicted to substances and below the poverty line. And the young woman has managed to not only break the cycle of poverty, but been the first person in her family to put herself through a tertiary education to graduate from college. And in America, colleges...
Oh, yeah. Because they don't do HECS. They have
No.
to pay it, don't they?
No, and in fact, I think it's so egregious over there that even when you die, they can still keep taking money from you. So if you have like an estate or something, they can keep it, so it's beyond ridiculous. But that, when I hear things like that, it's got nothing to do with pageantry. I mean, someone who can do that has all my respect, because it's not about pageants anymore. It's about lifting yourself from your bootstraps, reinventing yourself. I mean, a young woman I recently coached, I think she moved from Indiana, which is in one part of America, to New York. And literally when I was talking with her, she was on a cruise ship in Sweden, right, living the life. And so when you hear stories like that, I mean, that's why I love interviewing, because you get to find out, or coaching, you get to find people who've done absolutely amazing things. And pageantry gives them a chance to not complain about it, but to talk about it and use it as an advocacy to help other people.
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's what I love the most, and I got to help her a little bit with the branding and positioning of that. But she's got a real chance of impacting people in a very real way.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I wish her all the success. That's incredible. And I was going to ask, have there been any conversations that completely change your view on confidence and identity? And it doesn't have to be within the pageant world, it can be within sports, because this podcast is about sports and the arts. You can talk about both pageantry and sport.
Confidence and identity. I mean, I grew up fascinated by psychology because I wanted to know what makes people do what they do. Because I view very often people as puzzles to figure out, especially if it's coaching. I've been a coach my entire life because I've always wanted to help people. But in order to help people, I need to know what can help people or how I can help people. So I studied psychology a lot. And so most of those sorts of conversations in terms of confidence and identity would have come from people that I studied under for my life coaching qualification. Because I don't know if your experience matches this, but a lot of sports coaches or pageant coaches, they know sport or they know pageants and they have no interest in going further than that. That is as far away from me as you can humanly get. I have so many different bits and things that I bring to the table. And so I'll be coaching someone and suddenly I need to know about branding and marketing. Like in my bag right now is a book about marketing because I'm using that to help people brand themselves and strategically plan how to take out a crown. And so I've had a lot of interesting conversations, but it's not restricted to the pageant area. I think sometimes you sit down with someone and they're interesting and you have a cool conversation. Then there are people who don't, not that they're silly, but they don't think. Maybe I should just stop there. Because I have a best friend who's really intelligent, but he just doesn't really think much. He doesn't have the internal monologue. That scares me, by the way, when someone doesn't have an internal monologue. But he okay, the silly story, but coffee. He got given a bag of coffee beans by his client. He's a real estate person. He sends me a photo. No, he messages me. Oh, client gave me coffee. What do I do with it? Just a message. I said, well, can you send me a photo? Is it beans? Is it internet? And he sends me a photo. Do you know what he sent me a photo of?
The beans?
No, the outside of the box. I'm like, okay, you drink coffee every day of your life and you've never wondered, how does it get in there? You know, does it just come out of a tap? It's like talking to one of those kids who thinks like broccoli grows in a supermarket. And so, tangent, I don't know how I got on this, but...
Confidence identity.
There are people who are fascinated by the world around them.
Yes.
There are people who are not, and they just stay on their lane.
You seem like a lifelong learner. I found that, like, and obviously it shows with the different degrees you've gone into. I even heard about you doing a music management as well.
Yeah,
which I guess it does link in with the pageantry. It's kind of helping mentor and manage people.
Everything makes sense in my head.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's harder to explain or remember what I was thinking at the time. But I mean, if you riff my list of qualifications, I mean, you got the bachelor's, then you've got the business management, which came through music because I thought I'd be an agent. I've got tennis coaching qualifications. I qualified to teach the violin, qualified life coach, and I'm hugely interested in business psychology, and I just think it helps make you a better, not just a better person, but certainly a better coach. Because sometimes a person is stuck, and they're not in running. They're not stuck because their tricep or triceps is running. What am I talking about? But let's say, hamstrings or quads, right? And then go, oh, but I've got a pain in my knee, and so then you go, okay, but why? And then maybe it's not because they've been overtraining, but because when they're sitting at a desk the whole day, they're slumped. So then I know about stand-up desks, right? So one thing leads to another. I think life
multifaceted, and you can,
I also think the way the world's moving, it's you need to be like that.
Yeah.
Because now the days of knowing just one thing, being useful, you'll be taken over by AI. So.
And I was interested in your research into AI because it's something I'm kind of learning about now in my master's degree of strategic communications. Because our lecturer actually is, his PhD was in particular about AI. And it's something I've always been a bit more scared of, because watching iRobot, I'm like, no, are we doing like...
Are they rising up, they're going to take...
But how come you were an early adopter of AI and you now use it in your pageantry? I even did a mock interview.
And I got AI to give you a question and you freaked out.
It was gnarly.
I mean, look, the thing is, people look at that and they want to form an opinion about it straight away, either good or bad. For me, I don't look at it that way. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. It's like, what can this actually do? And literally, if you play with it for 5 minutes, this was the early days when I didn't have voice mode. I've written books and all sorts of things. And then I also have a weird sense of humor. So I said, okay, can you draw an image of my cat, but make it... my brother's also similarly minded. He's a fat cat. Turn the fat cat into a pirate with a big pirate hat, and it doesn't. I went, interesting. But it can do so many things, and once you start using it, you realize what it can do. You take away the fear. I find most people who are AI against against AI, I find very often, have you actually used it?
Yeah, exactly.
And I understand the biggest thing is IP infringement, for sure. And then also the effect it has on the environment, because it sucks up a lot of power. I get that. That being said, if you're not using it, the guy's book that I was reading at the moment, Seth Godin, he said, AI now is like what electricity was 100 years ago. You don't ask now, does your business use electricity?
Yeah, it's just a given.
It's a given. And AI will be the same, and I will say it's getting there very quickly. So
it's almost a given now. Like, I see it in workspaces I'm in, even environmental companies like the one I'm working in do use it. Also at uni, they're actually telling us to use it now. Smart, like, have to do it wisely and not copy, but they are saying, like, no, actually use it.
Yeah, because a year ago when it first came out, they said, don't you dare use it, and we'll be able to tell if you're using it. And I'm like, no, you won't. And then surely enough, they weren't able to.
Yes.
Right, then they needed AI to detect AI. But this is why formal education, for me, I'm on the fence with it, because on one hand, education is great. On the other hand, I feel it lags behind, especially something like, you look at any degree to do, I know you said your person had the PhD, but like they're now doing masters of AI.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's moving so quickly that by the time you sit down for your orientation, another 10 AI apps have come out. The only way to keep up with it is to stay up to date with
I suppose it's like everything though, that if you do have that qualification, then perhaps you have a better chance at jobs within the field because they know you've got the qualification. And then if you keep studying, like you add it on, then it's,
You're absolutely right when it comes to big companies.
Yes.
And so if you want a 9 to 5, yes.
Exactly.
But I would say if you ever put someone in front of me and I was hiring as a freelancer, I'd be like, I'm not interested in your qualification, tell me how you've used it.
Yes.
And those two, there are
different
different types of people, and maybe people have done both.
Definitely.
But I just don't really trust it when someone has a really, really long qualification. But yeah, AI is here to stay.
Well, we were talking about AI just then, and I did want to ask, did you actually utilise AI while you're coming up with your book?
Yeah, for a lot of the skeleton of it, and then some of the proofreading of it. I will say I didn't use it to write it because it still loves using M dashes, which drive me crazy. That's a whole grammatical thing. But it for the brainstorming part of it, and then getting clear into my head as to what I want to write. It's much like having a good conversation with someone. That's actually how I use AI the most now. Right now is brainstorming through voice mode. I don't even type into it anymore. And so if I have a business idea, I will talk about it with AI, and it will brainstorm with me and pitch and catch, and it really helps me formulate my own ideas. And it's really good for that because it basically is the most intelligent person in the world now, and it's got access to the internet. So yes, it was used. Not for the cover. No. Otherwise, we would have come up with a better photo.
So hold up, or can I hold it up?
Yeah, sure.
So, do you just want to speak a little bit about what this book is and why everyone should get it? Because I read a bit of it.
Not really, if I'm honest. I don't like self-promoting. I mean, I think it's all written in it's the beginner's guide to pageantry, and then it says how to prepare, compete, and shine, even if you've never done this before. That being said, I've been messaged by a couple of people who bought it over in America, in Tennessee specifically. One of them is Bailey Guy, who used to be Miss Tennessee USA and is now competing in Miss America and has got a good chance of taking the whole thing out. Another one is Crystal Foot, who is 6'4", started her own footwear brand, and I think was third runner-up at Miss USA. And I feel like I messaged Crystal and I said, you realise you're not a beginner, right? But the thing is, the entire first section of the book is on mindset, because I thought that was the first and most important part to get there. And so the personal trainer who I got to write the foreword, and she's now on my podcast, that's the part that she loved the most, was the mindset part, because she actually has a qualification in psychology as well. But the whole thing is just supposed to help you as a first timer have a strategic plan, knowing what you're walking into. Because, I mean, you can probably speak to this better than I do. Like, when you first walk into it, you don't know what questions to ask.
Oh, it was huge for me as well, because I did do coaching with you. It was a bit like what you said when you first started interviewing. It was a niche. Like, I've done bodybuilding before too, which is a niche.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know there were female bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Same with pageantry. I probably knew that there was Miss Universe and Miss World.
Yeah.
Beyond that, nothing else. Didn't know what they did. Just thought they were models. And actually got reached out, and then I immediately reached out to you because I was doing my research and was like, who actually can tell me what this is all about?
How did you even find me?
Well, it was probably through Miss World with Christian. So
I
was looking up coaches,
okay.
and I just got really fascinated by it. And in particular, your first thing you said to me really changed my whole perspective, which was have a good life outside of pageantry, and you'll do well in pageantry.
Yeah, that's my one quote, because I was coaching someone and she said, oh, you got really good quotes and sayings, and like none of them were mine, right? Because I've just stolen them from everyone else. But that's the one quote I will say is the best way to succeed in pageantry is to create an amazing life outside of it. That's the only quote that I actually came up with, so I will take credit for that one.
Well, it's the one that stuck with me, and I feel like it's so true, because pageantry is really just an enhancer, in my opinion, and it really is a community, and I love meeting people.
Yeah.
But for me, as my acting career is taking off as well and more things are happening, I feel better during the pageantry. But I'm really excited. I really do want a copy of this as well, and I'm going to give it a read, because I totally agree with you. It does not just have to be for a first timer. I feel like there's never enough research you can do in pageantry. It's kind of a world of its own. So,
it is, and there are not a lot of people who actually do the research. A lot of people who just keep on. Look, a lot of the information that a lot of the coaches are peddling is from 20 or 30 years ago. And look, pageantry has changed a lot in 20 or 30 years. The world has changed a lot. And so if you're not keeping up to, like, I feel like I'm the only one who keeps banging on about AI in the pageant space.
Yeah,
and then,
it's not talked about.
Yeah, and then pageant people say, oh, I did that thing you said and it actually worked out really well. But yes, it did. So I'll get you a new copy. You don't want my thumb through copy. Probably highlighted passages.
I don't mind. I just want to start reading it. I'm excited.
I'm also maybe doing like a revision of it to bring it more up to date. So you might want to wait for that so you don't have an out of. I mean, it's also quite thick. Don't you have enough to do?
Everyone get this book. It's really.
It was supposed to be 80 pages long, and then I was on like page 300, and I went, something's gone drastically wrong. It's crazy.
Oh, it's brilliant.
I'll get you a new copy.
Alright, we'll move on to the rapid fire questions now, because this is something I learned from you, so I am
This is why you brought me in a chance for revenge.
This has been totally
Fine.
Okay. Okay.
Here's a tip: if you drink coffee, you can look like you're having time to think.
Okay, rapid fire. Early riser or night owl?
At the moment, night owl.
Ooh, okay. Go-to comfort food?
French fries. No, sushi. Sushi.
What type of sushi?
Your chopstick skills are
Don't
atrocious.
talk about my chopstick skills.
Anything with salmon on it.
Okay.
Raw salmon or grilled salmon, both. Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. Alright, what is your biggest pet peeve?
Chewing. Yeah, it's not having to chew, but loud.
Do you annoy yourself when you're chewing?
No, I'm not that bad. But the problem is in Asian cultures, in Chinese specifically, there's a lot, like if you're enjoying the soup, you have to slurp it to show that you're enjoying it. Or you've got to chew really loudly. And so you go into a Chinese restaurant, you and then, oh my God.
So you're a tennis coach that tells people off if they have chewing gum in their mouth?
You shouldn't be playing tennis with chewing gum unless you want to choke, and
I
in which
like
case
run
I'm
while I
not.
chew.
Well, I mean, you run, so that's
Fair
already enough of a problem.
Different. Okay, if you were given the chance to steal something,
Mm-hmm.
what would it be?
What, like right now in this room?
No, like anything in the world. And you got away with it.
Steal anything and I... God, where'd you come up with this? What have you been doing since I last saw you?
I haven't stolen anything.
I would probably... I've always had a thing for superheroes and being able to fly. I'd probably steal a military jet. Not to shoot anyone with it, but
You're
those
just like
things
Batman.
that go like... Yeah, but I can't steal Batman because he's not real, right? Although I'd steal Iron Man's suit.
Yeah.
But I don't know, they have like jetpacks and it's something that
They
would
do.
help me fly.
They probably have those ones. Like, you know, the jetpacks on the water? That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah,
But you
yeah,
can get a whole...
They're only limited. You can
Yeah.
only go across water.
We're going
like
through a
that.
military jet. That's really
Yeah.
low-key. Do you have a favourite song?
Favorite? No, that depends on the mood. Although because I've been working so much with the Americans, country music has come up a lot.
What about a favourite theme song? Do you love the Big Bang Theory theme song? I learned that off by heart.
I don't. Well, what, they built the pyramids. I remember that. Favorite? What a favorite theme song? This is way before your time, but the Chicago Bulls back when Jordan was playing had I think it was called "Sirius" by Alan Parsons.
Oh.
I always liked that one. Has
Fond
no
memories
words.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
cool. What's a movie that makes you laugh when you watch it?
A movie that makes me laugh. What was I watching? I was watching Deadpool 2 last night. Anything that is a bit unhinged, which is why I like the Deadpool stuff. And then even things like in Iron Man when he's doing quirky and weird and wonderful things. But yeah, Deadpool recently.
Yeah, I love Deadpool. What would you wear if you had to wear one Halloween costume every day for the rest of your life?
Where did you come up with these questions from?
I'm a costumer, I've got to ask this.
Oh, that's right, I forgot that. Okay. Repeat the question. If one costume...
One costume for the rest of your life, like you have to wear it everywhere all the time.
Well, can I wear a Batman suit?
Yeah,
Okay,
you
well,
can,
final
but you have to go
answer.
everywhere in a Batman suit.
Well, that'd be cool. I can go to that sushi restaurant you guys went and just sit there as Batman.
Just stare at me while I'm trying to pick up my sushi. Okay, we'll move on. What is something that you first notice about someone when you meet them?
Whether they actually know how to be present. So if I'm having a conversation with someone, if they're always on their phone, it's like it's no dice. Like if you can't sit down and actually take your the attention away from a phone, no.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'm a bit the same. Like if you sit down with people and you're in a social setting, I'd really rather people didn't.
Yeah, I need you to
It's an anxiety thing, though.
off
I
or
feel
whatever.
like
and
people do it because they get nervous around social, so it's an easy thing to grab, I suppose.
well, then you need to know how to
Yes, it's true.
learn how to be around
Learn
people.
how to be around
I would say.
Okay. What is your favourite way to celebrate a small win?
Small win. Well, probably go and get sushi.
Yeah, that's fine.
I celebrate with food.
I kind of do that too. I do a little happy dance usually, but
No, I don't do
food's
that.
good.
No,
Don't do
no
that.
dancing.
Oh, okay. If you were a movie or book character, and you can say both, who would you be and why?
I feel like I just answered that with a Halloween costume.
Yeah.
Although, if I was to change my answer, I'd rather be Iron Man than Batman because Batman's a bit plum.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he's just angsty all the
Iron
time.
Man's had a pretty good life. I would say.
Yeah, you know, Iron Man, you can be completely narcissistic, hedonistic, have everything, have the expensive cars, and then you die a hero.
Just red flag.
Yeah. Look, don't read too much into this. Okay.
Narcissist. No, that's great. So then a book as well. Do you have a favourite book character that you'd want to be?
A favourite
Or
book
you relate to?
character? I used to read a lot of sci-fi books. I haven't read that many books recently. I guess I'd probably go. This is terrible. Harry Potter books, but I'd probably go for Voldemort rather than Harry. I have this thing for being the actually powerful person, and I feel sorry because like Voldemort basically gets killed because Harry just has this thing that's been placed on him, and I just feel like that's
Yeah, I feel like that was dodgy.
that's
like,
cheating.
He should have just,
right?
yeah. I always root for the villain too. I love the snake as well.
Yeah, so again, don't read too much into this, okay?
Okay, that was great. So that was a rapid fire. So thank you so much for coming in today and doing this podcast here in Sydney, actually. And yeah, it was really great chatting to you. Can you tell the audience how they can follow you, reach you, buy the book?
The Pageant Project on all socials, or thepageantproject.com. The book is on Amazon, so you can look up The Beginner's Guide to Pageantry. Can I ask you one question?
I hope it's not hard. Go for it.
Well, are you really that bad with chopsticks?
I feel like I'm better. I was just exhausted.
Hold
night.
this like you hold a pen.
Well, pen's a different story, but I'm like that.
That explains a lot. Okay. I won't say anything more.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.